Hi everyone, Catweazle here. Welcome back to Arkham Horror Cool Air. This is the start of turn 3. Just a quick recap of turn 2. Charlie is currently at the newspaper, where during his upkeep phase, next he's going to try and complete his personal story. Then we've got Skids, who's in Uptown. He spent the end of the turn in the street, so he lost another stamina. He's now down to 4 because of Ithaca's Icy Winds ability. And he's going to look to obviously get off the streets. And I think we're going to send him to the science building because he's had a bit of an idea. Roland is currently in the City of the Great Race Otherworld. He's going to continue his journey looking for a gate home back to Arkham. And Rita, who's at the Unvisited Isle, I think she's going to have to deal with this cultist here. But first, because she's got quite good speed with her being an athlete, I think she'll do a little detour first before she goes to deal with that cultist. Right, so after that quick recap, one of the other things I wanted to mention is I was mentioning at the end of the last turn that we had 5 monsters in Arkham. We've actually got 6. I forgot about the Mygo that's down here. So there are actually 6 monsters in Arkham. We have a monster limit of 7. So we could do with killing a few of these, otherwise they're going to start overflowing into the outskirts here, and that'll start sticking the terror track up. So, right, let's get over to the player area and do the upkeep phase. Here we are, over at the player area. Our first player for this turn is Roland Banks. So, as Roland is he's only moving from one area to another in the City of the Great Race Otherworld, he doesn't really need a speed of 4. He's got a focus of 3. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put him down 2. If I can get the focus marker out. I really should grow my nails. So he's going to go down to 2 speed, and with his other remaining focus that he's got, he's going to move it up 1, his fight up to 2. If you remember, once he comes out of the City of the Great Race and goes back to the Black Cave through the gate, he's got a ghost waiting for him, so we'll knock his fight up a little bit. So those are his focus moves, and there's nothing else that he has to roll for. He's got no bank loans or retainers that depend on upkeep. So we'll move across to the next player, which will be Rita. Here we are at Rita's player area. What we're going to do with Rita is she's got 2 focus, and we're going to use those 2 focus to go up to a maximum of 6 speed, because the idea I've had is with 6 speed she can move 3 to go to the newspaper, which is where Charlie currently is, and she will be able to trade with Charlie. And what that is when you're on the same space as another investigator, you can trade with them. So while she's been picking up clues and chatting to people in Hibbs Roadhouse, she's heard a rumour that Charlie is also looking into these sort of things, so she wants to go and meet up with him and have a bit of a chat. And along with the clues that she picked up in the Unvisited Isle, she's heard that one of these creeps, one of these cultists who she thinks has been following her around and possibly was involved in the murder of her college friend who was using her jacket, heard that one of these creeps is hanging around in Rivertown. So after a quick meeting with Charlie, she's going to head over to Rivertown and she's going to show one of these cultists what for. So 6 speed will allow her to do that. When she's meeting Charlie, I think she's going to trade the cavalry sabre, which she's not using because she's using her daddy's shotgun. So Charlie doesn't have any weapons, so I think it would be good to give him a cavalry sabre, give him something to protect himself. Now, as far as updates go, she has got a retainer that will need to be rolled for. So let's get the old dice tower out. It's leaning at a bit of an angle, but I'm hoping the dice won't come flying out of it. And a 4, so that's fine. So she gets $2 for her upkeep. Phase off her retainer. So we'll have these here. So she's now up to $8. So we've used a focus. She's saved a retainer, and she's got the retainer money for this turn. So that's Rita all done and dusted for upkeep. And we'll go to the next player, who is Charlie Kane. Here we are at Charlie's area, and as it is the upkeep phase, we finally get the chance to have a look at his personal story, which we've seen before. So in order to pass it, if Charlie, is that focused? If Charlie is at the newspaper during the upkeep phase, which he is, he may spend $15 to place Kane for Arkham in play. Well, he's going to do that. So here's his $15 that he's kept just for this purpose. We'll put them back into the supply, and that means he has passed his personal story. So let's have a look at the pass condition. Kane for Arkham. Congratulations, sir. I knew you'd win. Thanks, Bonnie. Charlie sipped his coffee and looked out of the window. Time to get back to the real work. Charlie gains a retainer. So, now gets a retainer. Now that the city have re-elected him, he gets paid. So, put his retainer up there with his bank loan. So he'll get $2 a round until such time as he loses his retainer. But hopefully that'll help him pay back his bank loan. And is there anything else? Charlie's settle down ability only costs 1 clue token to use for the rest of the game. So unfortunately, when the terror track went up last turn, Charlie's settle down ability costs 2 clue tokens to stop the terror track going up, and he only had 1 clue token at the time. But now he doesn't have to spend 2 clue tokens to stop the terror track going up. He only has to spend 1. So that's a good advantage of him passing his personal story. So that's 2 investigators now who've passed their personal stories. So we're doing quite well on that front. As for the rest of the upkeep, he does have to roll down for his bank loan, as he got it not last turn, the turn before. So again, let's hope that the dice doesn't bound out. And another 4, so that's fantastic. He doesn't have to pay. Yeah, on a 1 or a 3 he'd have had to pay $1 on his bank loan, but because he's rolled a 4 he doesn't have to, so that's good news. Right, as far as his focus goes, where we're going to look to send him, he's got $4. Oh, he gains $2 for his retainer, doesn't he? Congratulations on winning the election, Charlie. So he now has $6. So what he might do, I think, is he may go to the curiosity shop. That's only a movement of 2. And have a look if he can get himself another weapon or something useful like an elder sign, which is extremely useful for sealing gates. So that's Charlie done. There's nothing else that he has to do, I don't think. No. So let's go over and have a look at Skids O'Toole. Here we are, over at Skids player area. Now, what we're going to have Skids to do is in Uptown, but I've had an idea. If we go to the science building to pick up the clue there, that'll get him a clue, so it'll give him another clue towards his personal story. Additionally, what you can do when you're at the science building, instead of having an encounter, if you have 5 or more toughness on your monster trophies, which we do, so we add up the blood drops, and there are 5 there. So with those 5 toughness of monsters, you can turn them in at the science building for scientific study. And if you do that, you get 2 extra clue tokens. So if he gets to the science building, he'll get 3 extra clue tokens, which will be 3 extra clue tokens towards his personal story for a total of 4. And he'll only need 1 more clue in order to achieve that personal story. So it's good on 2 fronts. 1, he advances his personal story, and 2, he gets extra clue tokens so he too can begin to seal gates. He's got 4 at the moment. That'll put him up to 7, so he'll be able to go and start shutting gates, which is always very good. He needs 3 movement. He's got 3 movement. He's got a focus of 2. I'm trying to think. I don't think he's bumping into any monsters or anything, so we'll keep his focus where it is at the moment. And that's the end of Skids O'Toole's upkeep phase. So let's get on to the movement phase. Right, welcome back to the board for the movement phase. And the first movement is Roland Banks, who's over at the City of the Great Race. Because he's at the City of the Great Race, he just moves from the first part of the City of the Great Race to the second part of the City of the Great Race, and that's Roland's move. Next up is Rita. Now, Rita's got a slightly more complicated move. We've bumped her up to 6 speed. And what she's going to do is, first of all, she's going to have a chat with Charlie Kane at the newspaper. So, 1, 2, 3. She says, "Hello, Mr. Kane. I've heard from various sources that you're investigating like the strange happenings in Arkham, as am I." And they just have a little chat about what's going on. She explains how she's being followed and everything, and Charlie explains how he's seen things in the local government papers and stuff that's suggesting something's going on. And Rita says, "Do you know what? I think you need something to help you out, Charlie. So I'm going to give you this cavalry saber." So she gives the cavalry saber to Charlie. And then she mentions that she's going to have to leave. She can't stay. She's heard that one of the people who possibly attacked her roommate are in the Rivertown streets. So Charlie tells her to be careful, and Rita sprints off to Rivertown streets. So 1, 2, 3. So it was 3 to the newspaper, 3 to Rivertown. That's 6 speed. That's all she's got. So she turns up, finds the cultist, and the first thing she does is pull out her shotgun. Now the cultist, let's have a look. First thing about the cultist to know is, on the blue part, the horror check part is just a dash. What that means is you don't have to do a horror check. He's just a bloke in a robe. Nobody's afraid of him, so no horror check. He's down for 1 toughness. Except it's now 3 toughness because he's worshipping Ithaca. And over here at the combat side, see, you've got a +1. This is one of the few monsters that gives you extra combat dice. So where she's got 6 dice, 4 for a shotgun and 2 for a base fight, she's now got 7. So she needs 7. With those 7 dice, she needs to get 3 successes. So 3 successes. That means she'll get this guy as a monster trophy. If she fails, she will take 1 stamina damage and then get to roll another 7 dice. Right, okie doke. Let's put him back in Rivertown and let the battle begin. Let's get 7 dice and get the old... There we go. Is that in shot? Yes, it is. Right, let's see how we go on. And she gets 3. She gets 2 6s and a 5. So, Mr. Cultist takes a shotgun to the face, and Rita leans over his dead body and says, "That's for killing my roommate." And she takes him as a trophy. And because he does have 3 toughness due to Ithaca, that means his 3 toughness will count towards, for example, if you took him to the science building where you need 5 toughness worth of monsters, he would count 3 now, not 1. So that's one of the benefits for his toughness being increased by Ithaca. So I'll put that in her playing area, and we get the stand back. So we've got 2 stands now. So we do have 5 monsters in Arkham now. Like I was saying last turn, now we've killed one, we're back down to the correct numbers. 2 in the sky, 2 at the graveyard, and 1 at the Black Cave. Rita will stay in the Rivertown streets because she's engaged in combat. That will mean she will lose a stamina at the end of the Mythos phase because of Ithaca's icy winds. Right, next up is Charlie. Charlie's the next up, so we'll just go over to where he is. There we go, just zoomed in a bit better so see him a bit better. He's over at the newspaper. He's just had his chat with Rita. He's having to think about where to go. So what he's going to do is, he's thinking, with all this supernatural activity going on, perhaps he ought to go to that strange shop in Northside called the Curiosity Shop, which is just below him there. So he's going to move into Northside, and then he's going to move into the Curiosity Shop. And that's the end of Charlie's movement. And last but not least, let's go over and see what Skids is going to do. Right, here's Skids. Feeling a bit nippy in the uptown street, so he's decided to get indoors. And what he's going to do with his 3 movement is he's going to go to the science building. He's got some bits of monster that he wants looking at by the academics. And as he gets there, he gets a clue token. There's a clue there that he picks up. So that's 1 extra clue, plus an extra one from the supply, which will now go onto his personal story. So he's got 2 towards his personal story. He needs 5. And that's the end of Skid's movement. So next, it's the Arkham encounter phase. Welcome back. Because it's the Arkham encounter phase, we skip Roland, who's currently in the City of the Great Race in another world, and our first player after Roland is Rita. Rita's in Rivertown streets. That means she doesn't have an encounter because she's in a street location. So we'll bypass her and we'll go on to Charlie Kane, who's in the Curiosity Shop. Here's Charlie. And instead of having a Northside neighbourhood location encounter, as you can see, the Curiosity Shop there, it's got a bit of text underneath, says shop. Instead of having an encounter here, you may draw 3 unique items and purchase one of them for the list price. Discard the other 2 items. So that's what Charlie's going to do. He's got $6. So let's pick out the unique item deck. All. Whoop. There we go. So, give him a good shuffle. There we go, and let's pick them out. First one is the lamp of Al Hazard. +5 to combat checks. Magical weapon. Oh, $7. He's only got $6. So unfortunately, we can't afford that. A tome. Let's put these the right way around. There, pick them up the right way around. Cults de Ghoul. A tome. Movement. Exhaust and spend 2 movement points to make a law -2 check. If you pass, draw 1 spell and gain 1 clue token, but lose 2 sanity. Ugh. And discard Cults de Ghoul. Well, it's only $3. We'll see what we've got after that. And the last one. Oh, it's an Elder Sign. Oh yes, this is the one we'll be taking. This is the best unique item in the game. What it allows you to do is to seal gates. You don't even have to make a skill check. All you do is pay 1 stamina and 1 sanity, and you will seal the gate. And you also remove a Doom token from the Ancient One's Doom track, and it's only $5. This is what we're buying. The other 2 we'll put in the discard pile, but this is the one we'll be buying. And he's got $6, so we can afford that. So let's put these in the discard. There we go. Put the rest of the deck back for later. And there's $5. And Charlie now has an Elder Sign. Woot woot. That's excellent. That's really, really good. Fantastic. Right, after Charlie is Skids. So let's go to where Skids is. And here we are with Skids in the science building. Again, very similar to Charlie up at the Curiosity Shop. We've got a bit of text underneath the location, which says Dissection. Instead of having an encounter here, you may spend 5 toughness worth of monster trophies or 1 gate trophy to gain 2 clue tokens. So that's what he's going to do. He's got the Chthonian and the skeleton that he punched hard in the groin last turn. They've got a total of, if you have a look at the blood drops there, of 5 toughness. So you can get an extra 2 clue tokens. So that's going to take him up to... That's going to take him up to 7 clue tokens for sealing and re-rolls and stuff like that. But he's also going to get... Hang on. And he's also going to get another 2 out of the supply that we're going to put on his personal story. So he's up to 4 clues on his personal story and only needs 1 more. So that's good news. Good news for us, good news for Skids. And what we'll do now is that's the end of his encounter phase. We'll now go to the Otherworld encounter phase and Roland in the City of the Great Race. Here we have Roland in the second part of the City of the Great Race. So, as per last time, we get out the gate deck and we'll place it down. And as before, we're looking for a green or a yellow card. So the first one is, oh, we've got another green card. And it's got a City of the Great Race on. All right. So let's have a read. City of the Great Race. You may choose to try and infiltrate one of the angled structures. If so, make a sneak -1 check. So it's a may. We don't have to do it. Let's check what his sneak is. His sneak's actually 3. His sneak's actually 3, so he'd get 2 dice. If you pass, draw 2 unique items and keep 1 of them. If you fail, you are lost in time and space. No, we're not going to do it. The reason we're not going to do it is I really want to start sealing gates. If we'd already sealed a couple of gates, I'd have probably gone for it. But we haven't sealed a single gate yet. So he doesn't have to do it. There's nothing bad happens if he doesn't do it. So he's just going to come out of the City of the Great Race next turn, go back to the Black Cave and attempt to seal that gate. So that's the end of the Otherworld encounter phase for Roland. and for our investigators. So we'll put that in the discard and put the gate deck back. Right, that's the end of the Otherworld encounter phase, and now it's the Mythos phase. Right, here we are, the whole boarding shot for the Mythos phase, and as per usual, it means a card from the deck of naughtiness. Let's have a look at what we get this time. We get another headline, and we get another monster surge because it's the Black Cave. So we've got a gate open at the Black Cave, so we've got yet another monster surge. I think this means we're going to start filling up the outskirts because we've only got 2 spare monster stands. So, but anyway, we'll see how we go on. So Black Cave, monster surge, only 2 open gates, so it means as we've got 4 investigators, it is 4 monsters. One good thing about it being a monster surge, because there's no new gate, it means we don't have to put another Doom token on Ithaca, so that remains at 2. But we do have to draw 4 monsters out of the monster bag. Right, first one is a Dart Young. These are nasty. These are very nasty. Black Cave was the gate, so he's going to go there. And again, it's not going to move. He's got a yellow border. Right, the next monster that's going to go to the graveyard is another yellow monster that doesn't move. It's a Warlock. So that's going to go here. Now, that uses up our last 2 stands. So the next 2 are going to go to the outskirts. The first one is a Leng Spider. So that's going to go to the outskirts down here. So we can only have 4 in the outskirts. So the second one to go down there is a Cultist. So we've got a Cultist in the outskirts of Arkham along with a Leng Spider. Right, let me just put those 2 that we pulled out onto the stands. So the Dart Young, I'd have preferred the 2 that we've gone to the outskirts to go. Preferred to have swapped them round with the Dart Young, and the Warlock's not so bad, but we could have done without the Dart Young. Right, there we go. So the Black Cave and the graveyard, bit of a monster mash going on. Right, let's read the rest of the card. A clue appears at Hibbs Roadhouse. Let me just grab one. So the good old boys at Hibbs Roadhouse, they're full of clues. Right, now monster movement. We've got hexagons moving on white. I think we've only got 1 hexagon. I think that's the Dart Young. But as I said, it's got a yellow border, so it's a stationary monster. It doesn't go anywhere. So it's going to stay at the Black Cave. Next up, Slash. We've got one of those, I believe. Yep, it's the Moon Beast, which is an aquatic monster. It's going to move as normal though, because the graveyard, I don't think it's an aquatic location. So, ooh, 3 toughness, nasty. And it's going to move into Rivertown, which is where the lovely Rita is. So she's going to have to sort that out next turn. Wouldn't like her to stay in Rivertown, because if she fights the Moon Beast, it means she has to stay there, and she'll lose another sanity, assuming she doesn't sanity. She'll lose another stamina, assuming that the Moon Beast doesn't do any damage. So she might have to try and sneak past that. So, which is unfortunate, but with Ithaca's Icy Winds ability, we can't really hang around in the streets too much. We've got a triangle, I think with the Chthonian gone. That was the only triangle we had. Yes, it was, so there are no triangles. And the other one is a star. I don't think we've got any stars. Nope. There are no stars. So basically all 7 monsters have now moved. So now we move up to the headline. Church group reclaims Southside. All monsters in the Southside streets or locations are returned to the cup. This is Southside, the brown area. Unfortunately we've got no monsters in there, so we've got none to return to the cup, which is a bit of a downer really. Right, okay. So that's the end of the Mythos phase. So discard the Mythos card and put the Mythos deck back. And that is the end of turn 3. So we'll move the first player marker. First player next turn will be Rita Young. She's got a decision to make about the Moon Beast and what she's going to do. I think ideally she'd like to get to the graveyard and get through the gate there. So she may try and evade the Moon Beast, and she'll fight the 2 monsters that are in the graveyard and then try and get through the gate, wherever that may lead. Roland Banks, he's going to be coming out of the City of the Great Race. The first turn that you do that, you don't have to fight any monsters, so he won't have to fight the Ghost or the Dark Young. He'll get a free go at trying to seal the gate. And he'll have to deal with the monsters the turn afterwards. Skids is at the Science Building. I think he's going to head across towards the Witch House, which is another very unstable gate. And Charlie, oh, I'll have to think about Charlie. I don't know where I'm going to put Charlie or send him. So anyway, that's it for turn 3. Thanks very much for watching. Thanks very much for the subscriptions and the comments and the views and the likes. As I always say, it's very much appreciated, and I hope to see you all next time for turn 4 of Arkham Horror Cool Hair. Toodaloo.